beautiful people. It's good to have you join me on Dynamic Diet on the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm so delighted to be on your screen today to dish you delicious delight on the show today. So the rundown for today's program is we'll be starting with our weekly mirror segment. We'll be looking at the mpox on our weekly mirror segment. What is mpox? And so many other things you would like to know about this. We'll be having a special guest that will be joining me shortly in the studio. Then afterwards, we'll be having our entertainment segment, then the sports segment. This and many more will come your way on this program. Please stay tuned if you want to know what we have in stock for you. We'll be right back after this short break to see our clips on what mpox is. Enjoy.
So far this year, more than 25,000 monkeypox cases have been recorded across 88 countries. Monkeypox is a viral disease, first discovered in 1958, originating in colonies of monkeys, hence the name. According to the World Health Organization, in 1970, the monkeypox was identified in a 9-month-old boy in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a region where smallpox has been eliminated. This was the first case of human infection. Since then, most cases have been reported from rural, rainforest regions of the Congo Basin, particularly in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The monkeypox virus is an enveloped double-stranded DNA virus that belongs to the orthopoxvirus genus of the Poxviridae family. Monkeypox is a viral zoonosis, a virus transmitted from animals that are infected to humans, with symptoms similar to those seen in the past in smallpox patients, although it is clinically less severe. Symptoms of the monkeypox viral illness include fevers, headache, body aches, lethargy, and swollen nodes, followed by the rash called the pox. This is typically a blistering type rash, which typically crusts later. Now, various animal species have been identified as susceptible to monkeypox virus. This includes rats, squirrels, and non-human primates, like monkeys. Animal-to-human transmission can occur from direct contact with the blood, bodily fluid, skin lesion of infected animals. Human-to-human transmission can result from close contact with respiratory secretions, skin lesions of an infected person, or recently contaminated objects. Right now, most transmission is occurring between humans through close skin-to-skin contact, particularly during sexual intercourse, mostly in men having sex with other men. The diagnosis of monkeypox virus is through a polymerase chain reaction, PCR, and this is the preferred laboratory test, just like in COVID-19. The swab is taken on the skin lesions, and the PCR will detect the presence of viral genetic material of the monkeypox virus. Now, there are some other important differential diagnoses that must be considered when one presents with a similar type of rash, and these include chickenpox, measles, bacterial skin infections, scabies, syphilis, as well as medication-associated allergies. Currently, there is no approved treatment specific for monkeypox. The smallpox virus is known to provide some protection against the monkeypox virus. Thus, those who were inoculated against smallpox as a young child are thought to be less likely to develop a serious case of monkeypox later in life. Right now, there are 2 vaccines available in the United States to prevent monkeypox, but not everyone is eligible to get one. The monkeypox vaccination can be used as pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, PEP, and outbreak response, PEP, according to the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Thank you for watching.
The Redeemers Men's Fellowship of the Redeemed Christian Church of God under Province 8 invites everyone to its 2025 RMF convention with the theme Destined for Greatness. Ministering our Pastor Ayo Ezekiel on the topic Destined for Greatness, Dr. Sunday Sadio on elder living in a time like this, and Pastor Matthew Ofulwe on wisdom for prosperity for men. The convention comes up on Saturday, 23rd August 2025 at 11 a.m. and Thanksgiving on Sunday, 24th August 2025 at 8:30 a.m. Venue is RCCG Kingdom Parish Auditorium, Obaile Housing Estate, Akure. Jesus is Lord. Assistant Pastor Oludarioke. Provincial Men's Leader, Pastor Shegun Iloe. PICP on the Province 8, Pastor E.A. Adeboye, General Overseer.
Analysis of what mpox means. So to narrow it down to our environment, I have a special guest who has joined me in the studio. He is the Director, Immunization and Disease Control, Ondo State. He's no other but Dr. Victor Adefesoye. It's good to have you here, sir.
Yeah, Shari, good morning.
Thank you for always being here to enlighten us about such things that happen around us.
Yeah, it is a pleasure, and it is a very great opportunity to help educate our peoples in the various communities that form Ondo State and even beyond. Thank you.
So now, when did we first record the case of mpox in Ondo State?
Yeah, thank you so very much. To be precise, in Ondo State, we had not been having, incidences of mpox disease. However, in the recent past, between the late last year to now, in Ondo State, we have been having pockets of these diseases, in some local governments in Ondo State. So that is why it is very important for us to be, as usual, be proactive to really attack the disease when we are seeing them coming up 1, 2, 3 cases like that before it becomes epidemics in Ondo State. Thank you.
All right. So what are the risk factor of mpox amongst us?
Yeah, the risk factor is a very good thing. That some people are actually at risk. When we talk about risk factor, you also have to consider who are the people at risk. We have people that are at very high risk, people that are very low, middle or medium medium risk, and those that are at the very low risk. Of course, those that are at very high risk are people who have not at any one time or the other in their lifetime receive any form of vaccination. So this inability for the person to get that vaccine has exposes or predisposes the person to all of these vaccine preventable diseases. Aside that, I want to also talk about people that are immunocompromised, people that do not have optimal level of immunity that is necessary for natural body resistance to diseases. And for example of these are people with HIV/AIDS, people with some cancerous diseases, particularly people with cancer of the cervix, people with cancer of the breast, prostate cancers, all of that. Then we also want to talk about people that are suffering from some medical illnesses like diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and some other chronic illnesses. So when we talk about all of this, then we place them as people that are highly predisposed. We also have some people that have very poor level of hygiene, whether environmental, personal hygiene, and all of that. So these are the issues to consider when we want to talk about the risk factors.
All right. So there's this saying that if you see something, say something. So now, how do we identify the symptom? Maybe we see somebody that is sick. How do you know that this person is infected with mpox, so that you'll be able to help them?
Yeah. So talking about signs and symptoms of mpox, it's similar to some other pox diseases or pox viral diseases, such as smallpox, chickenpox, measles, even skin allergies. The symptoms of Mpox is just similar to that. It's also associated with issues of fever, runny nose, let me say common signs and symptoms of flu, what we call viral flu, whereby the person will be sneezing, will be having runny nose, tearing from the eyes, mainly body ache, headache, loss of appetite, and things like that. But then, when it is now becoming, more severe in the person's body system, then the person begins to have what we call pains in the body joints, and the person begins to have development of rashes, and the rashes will spread from the face down to the body, then to the fingers, and after a while, the swellings will begin to accumulate some clear fluid, and after a while the clear fluid will develop into a very big blisters, and the color will now change from clear to whitish, and that is telling you that there is accumulation of some pus materials inside the blisters, and it's quite itchy. It's quite itchy, and person will be scratching his body or her body up and down. But so significant of the signs and symptoms of this that will make us narrow this disease down to Mpox is the development of lymph node enlargement, and to have the lymph node enlargement around the armpit, around the groins, back of the ear.
Can you please simplify that for layman?
Yeah, thank you so very much. When you talk about lymph nodes, you begin to see some development of hard tissues, nodes, as a swelling. And some people, when they have wounds in their legs, when you get to the groins, then you begin to have some kind of tender mass there that our people commonly in Yoruba call petele. So this kind of petele now, you see it along the groins, armpit, at the back of the ear, along the neck,
and
like
it's
this.
so painful
And tender, and it is rubbery in nature. When you press, there are no fluid collection in it. It's hard, rubbery. Then at that level, you begin to narrow your thinking down to this person is definitely suffering from Mpox until proven otherwise. But very diagnostic of it, to confirm the diagnosis, is when you take swabs from all of these blisters. You take to the laboratory where they put it under a high-tech mechanical or chemical analysis. Then that will give you the result, and it's confirmed that it's an Mpox disease. As we speak, one case of Mpox disease in any community is an epidemic, and it calls for severe and serious attention of all that are concerned with the management of health system, including healthcare workers, teachers, the hygienists, the government, the traditional leaders, religious leaders. Everybody within the community should be up and doing to ensure that we nip the ball at that level, so that it does not spread, because it's a fast spreading disease, and the origin of the disease usually was traced down to animals, bush animals in the thick forest of the Democratic Republic of Congo back in the 70s, and it was discovered that a baby was a suckling baby developed this, and it generated a kind of attraction, and people began to put in place investigations to ascertain what this disease is, what's the cause, and all of that. So we discover this as a result of transmission from monkey disease to a human being. From a monkey that was infected with the virus or with the virus and the disease, transmitted it to a man who happened to be a hunter, and this man brought this
to his family.
So it's a zoonotic disease from ab initio, but now man can infect man, and it does not really matter that probably when you have some sexual intercourse or all of that. Well, that is another very means by which the thing spreads.
Okay.
But that is not the only case. It can also transmit when an infected person dashes out, or a non-infected person uses infected person's clothes and other materials, towels, handkerchief, and all of that. You can also pick the virus from objects where we have droplet of the virus on. For instance, your car key, the handle of your car, the handle of your doors, or people coming to visit you in your office. You do not know that this person is infected, or unfortunately the person sneezes into the air within an enclosure, and you inhale that air together with the particle of the droplet inside in the air. Then you begin to have cases like that. So thank God we are able to understand all of this, the cause of effect, the causative organism, mode of transmission, and some other preventive measures. As we speak, there is no definitive medication of clear-cut value that will address or manage or cure this mpox, because a viral disease, like it is being associated with many or virtually all the viral diseases, there are no specific drugs or medications that have been going down to say that this is the medication to take care of mpox disease. However, somebody that is infected with the disease can also be taken care of with the use of palliations. If there is superimposed infection, what I mean by that is probably the person primarily has mpox disease, and at the end of it, the blisters and the wound scars that are left over become infected by microorganisms, so like bacteria and other things like that. So you quickly want to address that, take care
just
of
treat
it.
the symptoms, right?
Yes, treat like that. Give some medication to allay headache, body pains, fever. If we need to rehydrate, as I say, infusing the patient with body fluid, we will need to, and if it's somebody that is actually having this issue of immunocompromised condition, we also want to give some medications or some supplements that will want to boost the immune system of such a person, so that the person does not go further debilitated. However, there are a lot of preventive measures that we can do as individual, as a community, and as an organization. And first and foremost of it is, we talk about primary level of, prevention, and this involves the making sure that your environment is clean, environmental hygiene, food hygiene, water hygiene, personal hygiene. You wash your hands with clean water, soap and clean water. You avoid hugging, shaking of hands. You avoid sneezing.
Thank God to pandemic, we don't shake anyhow again.
Yeah, great. That's a lesson learned from the COVID-19 pandemic. So you don't go on hugging, indiscriminately. You don't go on dashing out clothes or just putting on anybody's clothes, just anyhow, shoes, all of those things. Even wristwatch, particularly the leather wristwatch. Don't just wear it. Don't just shake hand, and then you want to sneeze, you want to cough, don't just cough into the open air. You don't sneeze into the open air. Either you cough into your bent elbow, or get a white tissue paper that is disposable. And when you're going to dispose, you dispose in most sanitary conditions. So these are the various means by which you can do that primarily. We can also go further to do what we call secondary, prevention, infection prevention, and this involves the use of vaccine. Thank God there are vaccines now that are actually available for people that to prevent people from the infection. It's also there that we can give some people that when we give vaccine before the person is infected, it is pre-exposure, prevention, we call it prophylaxis, and that is what we do commonly in primary health care, because we don't want to get anybody get infected before we begin to treat and run up and down to curtail the disease harm. That is prophylactically, But when somebody is already infected, we call it outbreak response. So we give to the people or the community generally, so as to ensure that we curtail it within that community, so that it does not go beyond that level. Then there is pre-exposure, vaccination, because it is believed that there is every possibility for such a person who had been infected and is now recovered to be carrying the virus up and down. So the person will be carrying it, but he won't show signs and symptoms again, because he or she already has some degree of immunity naturally now. Yes, naturally, to fight against to battle with the virus that are within, but has the potential, very high potential, to spread it.
So it does not go away at all.
So it won't. So that is why we really need to give that person a vaccine, so that the vaccine, when given at that level, will continue to incapacitate the virus within the body system of such a person, to the extent that the person will not be infective again. So these are the issues. But in Ondo State, in the recent past, 2-3 days back, on the 21st to be precise, we concluded, vaccination of mpox for people that were infected, and for people that has close contact with infected persons, and the healthcare workers that actually manage those cases that were reported in the hospital. So we did that for like 10 days. We started on the 11th of August, and we ended 21st of August. And glory be to God, we gave these people, those that were already infected with the disease and that have recovered, like I said, we also gave their close contacts, and that the hospital managers where the cases were being treated. So we have these situations in about 8 local governments of Ondo State. We have the Akoko Southwest, Akoko Northwest, and Akoko Northeast. Yeah, we have Owo, we have Akure South, Akure North, Odigbo, and my own very local government of origin, and that is Ondo East here. So we had people, although they were not many in number.
But the people that came in contact with them.
People, particularly, and these people will also consider their age range by which we give. So people from 18 years and above were the recipient of the vaccine. So people younger than 18 years were exempted from it because of some findings that were associated with the vaccine in the lower age group. And of course, we also want to let people know that the age 18 that we are giving is that particular period when the potential of that vaccine will be very high in preventing people from the disease. So that is why we did it like that. And we had about 750 cases like that in Ondo State. And we thank God, our health care workers systematically traced these people, and they got them in full number without omitting anyone. So we have 100% coverage according to what the dictate.
Sorry, how about people? Our people are very funny. Sometimes some people don't believe in medical treatment and all that. So, and if they've come in contact with people that had mpox, and you invited them for treatment, they refuse. How have you been able to put something in order to go and meet them wherever they are?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's a practical question. It's a practical thing that we see on the field, and I also want to say that it is not peculiar to mpox vaccine that we just concluded. Even when we were talking about COVID-19, where we also had the HPV vaccination for our young girls, some people, even our routine vaccines that we give. So many people will want to, corner the whole system to satisfy them and to dissatisfy the aim of the government. So in that case, we had always been having the cooperation and support of our traditional leaders, community leaders, CBOs, community-based organizations, and even the health workers, community leaders, everybody we secure their cooperation. So in such a way, if we see a case that is resisting the vaccination, just make a report to those people that we have mentioned. We call them community gatekeepers, we call them community influencers, we call them community participants, and they will help us immediately to wade into it and try and counsel, not persuade this time, counsel, talk, change the orientation of such a person from negativity to positivity, and eventually they will all they complied and we get it done.
Okay. So the centers in which this mpox virus are being tested, are they in Ondo State, or you take it to other neighboring states?
Yeah, confirmation of the test is not done in Ondo State.
Okay.
We take to Ibadan, and at times there are sometimes we have to export to Senegal for confirmation to be done. Yeah, but I want to tell you that the transit period is just too, it's accommodatable.
Okay.
It's something we can bear. That's it. But in the hospitals, of course, when somebody is sick, they will first and foremost go and report in an hospital.
Yes.
And the hospital would definitely not be able to make a confirmative diagnosis. But the doctor, the healthcare workers, laboratorian, everybody there could have had one contact or the other with the person that has reported, either at the point of taking card, either at the point of the doctor examining, carrying out a kind of medical palpation and all of that. Then the laboratorian want to take samples and all of this to say, you get. So probably the nurse who have admitted, or there are various ways by which we can make contact with our patient in the hospital. You can see that health workers are also predisposed to all manners of infectious diseases. God helping us.
God helping us all. And even family members, when some people discover that, okay, a child is having pox or somebody is having pox, do you advise them to start touching? You talked about preventive measure.
Yeah.
How do they treat such poxes?
Yeah, thank you. The moment you begin to see all of this, even before the emergence of all of these pox, like skin lesions, when your baby or your neighbors or you yourself, you're having headache, fever, 3-4 days, it's not resolving, you've taken some analgesic, it's not going. The next thing for you is to report at the hospital, or you take the infected person to the nearest available hospital to you, and where that will prevent a large number of the family from making contact with you before you finally report in the hospital. Of course, when someone is sick, love towards that person tends towards be increased. So many people want to sympathize and say this and excuse me. So many people want to sympathize, empathize, and all of those things. So they want to touch you, they want to carry you, particularly if it's a young baby. And sometimes
they want to provide local remedies for you to
and all of that. So when somebody is sick, it attracts attention of people towards him. So that is why you see a large number of people making contact with the infected person. And that is why we have an apparatus on ground. We call them disease surveillance officers in all the 18 local governments. So when disease notifiable or epidemic prone diseases are reported in the hospital, we want to take the contact of the person, the address, name, and all of that, and who are the people that are within your neighborhood that you have had contact with since the beginning of this, your signs and symptoms. So we have the record of all of this, and we keep. So we put all of these people under surveillance, medical surveillance, of course, to continue to monitor the progress of what are signs and symptoms that has been shown by this contact person.
Sure.
So these are what we use to actually trace our people and get them, vaccinated and protected.
All right, doctor. So, what's your part-one message for people watching?
Yeah, my message to our people is that there are great opportunities out there for ourselves to protect ourselves from all manners of vaccine-preventable diseases or any epidemic-prone diseases. There are so many great opportunities for us to also make sure that we enjoy the clemency of the good governance of the government, and these are all what we should avail ourselves to. Particularly, we talk about hygiene, personal hygiene, environmental hygiene. This period when it's raining, of course, people should make sure that the environment is clean and clear from buches. You don't allow water to collect in your neighborhood, either inside a pot or a blocked drainage, to the extent that insects will begin to multiply and culture themselves there, to the extent that you have all of these microorganisms carrying the genes to have contact with you. Yeah, we talk about netting our house, with insecticide treated net, or use of insecticide treated bed nets for particularly pregnant mothers and children under 5. These are the period that we really need to implement that, because of the fact that we have high population of mosquitoes around now that will give us some malaria that is causing causing a high disease burden in our community. We also have to ensure that we continue with our personal hygiene models of washing your hands with soap and water. Don't touch your nose, mouth and eye indiscriminately. Don't shake hand. Be at an appreciable distance from your colleagues or anybody, not just because you hate them and not just because you are too low, but you are just trying to prevent spread of disease. You do not even know the kind of disease you are harboring at any time, at any point in time. So you don't want to spread to that person, and you do not want that person to. So most importantly is when we have government services like the use of vaccine, we must make ourselves available. All vaccines, are very, very cost effective. They are free of charge to all people. They've been tested and they have been approved and considered safe for the targeted population. Sorry, before I drop it, we mentioned environmental hygiene is quite germane this time around, particularly for those people that defecate indiscriminately, on the street, on the hilltop, when rain falls, of course, rain washes all of these dirt into a stream that form another source of water for people down there, and the people swallowing fecal materials together with the pathogens, and outbreak of cholera. We expect that, because this is the period, of course, and things like that. People using well water, particularly the wells that are surface wells that are not really deep. We also have to be cautious of that, because in our environment here we find out that statistics is showing us that is what over 70% of people are using. Yeah, 70% of people is using in Akure metropolis here. So we really need to actually let them know that when they fetch their water, particularly the one they want to consume raw like that, let them boil the water to boil and allow it to cool. Then they can now begin to drink. And whenever they want to do some cookings, let the food be well done before they consume it. We pray that diseases that are not curable, may we not contact them.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Thank you so much for being here to share your knowledge, and we also appreciate that whenever we beacon on you, you're always here to enlighten us.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right, so all along I've been with the Director of Immunization and Disease Control Ondo State, Dr. Victor Adefesoye. Thank you for being here one more time.
Thank you.
All right, the program continues with our entertainment segment packaged by Adeni Adejuibe. Enjoy.
The Redeemers Men's Fellowship of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Ondo Province 8, invite everyone to its 2025 RMF